In 1995, a man named MacArthur Wheeler walked into a bank with his face smeared in lemon juice. He wasn't joking. He genuinely believed the lemon juice would make him invisible to security cameras, because lemon juice works as invisible ink on paper. When the police showed him the surveillance footage later that night, Wheeler stared at the screen in disbelief and whispered a line that psychologists still talk about today. "But I wore the juice."
Hurry up!
Okay.
How can someone be so confident
Just take it.
and so wrong? And more importantly, why does this happen so often? In debates, politics, education, and even inside our own heads. This bizarre event captured the attention of psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger. They started studying why people with low skill consistently overestimate their abilities. Their conclusion became one of the most famous and uncomfortable discoveries in psychology: the Dunning-Kruger effect. It isn't stupidity. It isn't arrogance. It's blindness to our own ignorance. When we know almost nothing about a subject, our brain cannot detect how big the topic really is. And because we don't know what we don't know, even a tiny bit of knowledge feels like expertise. Graphically, it looks almost comedic. You learn the basics and instantly climb to the peak of overconfidence, a place psychologists jokingly call Mount Stupid. This is the land of hot takes, loud opinions, and absolute certainty. But if you continue learning, if you dare to look deeper, the illusion collapses. Complexity hits you like a wave, and suddenly, the confidence that once felt unshakable falls apart. You slide into the valley of despair, a psychological low point where you feel incompetent, confused, and discouraged. Ironically, this is the moment when many people give up, thinking, "Maybe I'm just not good at this." But this valley is not failure, it's transformation, because only those who keep going, who stay curious despite discomfort, who climb slowly with humility, rise toward real competence. On the far right of the graph, you regain confidence. But this time, it's quieter, calmer, grounded in reality rather than illusion. This explains a common scene in human conversations. Place a simpleton, a good student, and a wise teacher in the same debate, and you'll witness the Dunning-Kruger effect in action. The simpleton speaks loudly, confidently, fearlessly, because he knows so little that he believes he knows everything. The student knows more, but lacks confidence. She stays silent, aware of her gaps. The teacher, who knows the most, speaks carefully and cautiously, not because he doubts himself, but because he understands how complex the world truly is. And strangely, the crowd often believes the simpleton, not because he's right, but because he sounds certain. And certainty is seductive. Culture amplifies this effect. In the United States, studies show that 93% of people believe they are above-average drivers, an impossible statistic. Sweden has a milder version of overconfidence. Japan leans in the opposite direction.
Is it possible
People
that
often
this is wrong?
underestimate their abilities deliberately,
Do not mistake
believing
clarity for
humility
shallowness.
fuels
True
improvement.
understanding rests
Yet
not in the
regardless of
volume
culture,
data, but
the
in the
psychological
evidence of its
pattern
structure.
is the same.
I know exactly
The less
how
we
this
know,
works. Trust
the more
me.
likely we
If
are to
just follow these
overestimate
simple
ourselves.
steps, everything
And the
will
more
be
we learn,
perfect.
the more aware
Okay,
we
fine.
become of how much we don't know. Learning anything, science, art, business, philosophy, psychology, begins as a gentle slope, then becomes a steep mountain, then a long, winding climb, a journey full of misplaced confidence, frustration, humility, and gradual mastery. The real danger of the Dunning-Kruger effect
If you want it.
isn't ignorance, it's confidence without knowledge.
Couldn't possibly.
Opinions shouted louder than facts. People mistaking a quick Google search for expertise. Leaders who believe certainty is more valuable than truth. But there is a path through this trap. Stay humble. Stay curious. Keep learning, even when it gets uncomfortable. Because on the other side of discomfort lies real understanding. And maybe you'll reach the wisdom of Socrates, who said, over 2,000 years ago, "I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing." That is not weakness, that is strength. Think deeper, question smarter, boost your brain. This is Brain Bosster, decoding human thinking, one bias at a time.